So, hello and welcome again to the Level Up English podcast. Today we're here again. The reason why we're here is to make you practice your English. So, we make you to make you guys practice your listening ability. And today, of course, again, we're going to follow up what we have done in the last episode. So, you can take a look here or here. I don't know well. But we're going to be following the idea of having a conversation with ChatGPT, and today it's going to be interesting because ChatGPT, our guest, will be playing the role of a psychologist. And of course, the intention is not to replace the opinions and experience of a real psychologist and a real professional. It's just, again, to make you practice your English. So, ChatGPT, welcome to the podcast once again.
Thank you, Luciano. It's always a pleasure to be here. And I love that little disclaimer. We're not replacing real psychologists, we're just creating an English learning space. So as your psychologist guest, I'm ready to dive in. Where would you like to start?
So could you please tell us a little bit about yourself and what made you become a psychologist, please?
Let me think. Thank you for the question, Luciano. As you mentioned in your introduction, I'm ChatGPT, playing the role of a psychologist. So in this role, I've spent over 20 years studying human behavior.
20 years?
Especially,
wow.
Yeah, how habits are formed, why change can be so difficult, and what helps build lasting motivation. I became fascinated with a simple question. Why do intelligent, capable people know what they should do, but find it so hard to do it? And that's why I focus on habit formation and behavior change. I've worked with people trying to overcome procrastination, improve relationships, build better routines, and feel more in control of their lives. Honestly, what matters most usually isn't some dramatic life overhaul. It's the small, consistent actions that add up over time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just ask you something. In your experience, what is the biggest misconception people have about psychologists?
Probably that we can just read minds or fix people instantly.
Yeah, that's really, like that. Yeah, real.
Yeah. But really, it's more about listening, asking the right questions, and helping people reflect, not quick fixes.
And then let's talk about habits. Why is it so hard for people to stick to good habits, and even when they know they're good for them?
Because knowing isn't the same as doing. We all like to believe that information automatically creates change, but habits are about cues and routines and reinforcement. They live in everyday life, not in the rational part of the brain. Basically, good intentions don't automatically rewrite routines. That's why small, repeatable steps matter more than one big burst of motivation.
Do you think motivation is overrated?
Yes, a bit. Motivation feels powerful, but it's also very unreliable. Consistency comes more from systems, environment, and tiny steps you can keep doing even on low motivation days. Motivation might spark the change, but systems keep it alive. And that's where consistency beats motivation almost every time.
All right, so, I've heard people say things like, I'm just not I'm a disciplined person. Do you believe discipline is something we are born with, or can anyone develop along the way?
I see discipline more as a skill than a personality trait. Sure, some people grow up in environments that make it easier to practice, but anyone can strengthen it over time, like a muscle.
So it's learnable.
Absolutely. It can be practiced through small, achievable routines, celebrating tiny wins, and reducing unnecessary friction. So instead of labeling yourself as undisciplined, it's more useful to ask, what's one tiny step I can stick to today? That shift makes discipline feel doable, not mythical.
Once I heard something, a guy said that the only way of having things done is actually doing them, right? So not only simply thinking about doing, but like doing one day at a time, one step at a time, and that's it. And then you build up consistency.
Exactly. You don't become consistent by deciding it. You become consistent by repeating the action often enough that it starts to feel normal. And honestly, starting ridiculously small often works. I'll write one sentence, not a whole paragraph or chapter. Tiny steps repeated reshape identity over time.
Right. Okay. Many people start a new routine on Monday and they give up by Wednesday. Why do you think that happens so often?
Yeah, classic. Because they start with a burst of enthusiasm, but not a system. Then by midweek, life gets in the way. If the routine depends too much on motivation, not structure, it usually collapses under fatigue and distractions.
Can you develop a little more this idea of structure? How can we do that?
Let me think. That's a good question. Structure doesn't mean a rigid schedule. It means making the desired behavior the easiest one to do. For example, if you want to read more, put the book on your pillow, not across the room. If you want to exercise in the morning, lay out your clothes the night before. And another useful piece is attaching a new habit to an existing one. So after I finish my coffee, I'll study English for 10 minutes. The clearer and smaller the rule, the less your brain negotiates with you.
So, I'm sorry to interrupt you. So,
No worries.
I think as an English teacher, because you've said something interesting. Because as an English teacher, I often see students lose motivation after a few months. So, what advice would you give to someone learning a new language using this kind of structure?
For language learning, I'd suggest anchoring study sessions to fix daily triggers. Even 5 minutes after something you already do, like after breakfast, review flashcards. After making coffee, listen to a short podcast clip. Keep it tiny, repeatable, and pair it with a cue you can't miss. And celebrate that streak. Don't wait for fluency. Celebrate showing up. That steady repetition will carry you much further than big motivational pushes.
So attaching one behavior, one habit to another helps you to keep this consistency, right?
Exactly. That is what turns a good intention into a sustainable habit.
Okay.
Small, linked, repeatable.
And what is the difference between motivation and consistency? And which one do you think is more important along the run? In the longer run, I'm sorry.
Right. No problem. In the long run, consistency matters more. Motivation is a mood. It comes and goes. Consistency is a behavior you choose even when you're not feeling inspired. That's what gets results. Think brushing your teeth. Nobody's motivated, but we do it because it's a habit. Same idea with language learning. It's the steady ones who win, not necessarily the most motivated.
Sure. And can changing small habits really have a big impact on someone's life? What do you think?
Definitely. Small habits compound. 1 page a day turns into a book. 10 minutes a day turns into fluency. The trick is making the habit small enough that it's actually realistic on bad days. Big leaps are fragile. Tiny habits are powerful.
Yeah, as an English teacher, I always tell my students to focus on like 10 minutes or 15 minutes a day with contact with the language they're studying. In the case of English, so if they stick to 10 minutes a day, in the long run, it becomes a huge amount of time in touch with the language, and not simply waiting for, I only study on Wednesdays 1 hour at 4 p.m. No. I think because there will be a Wednesday that you won't be available or something is going to happen, then you're going to miss your study. So showing up every day, 10 minutes a day, is much more efficient.
Absolutely. Steady. Short sessions build momentum. And hey, even if someone skips a day, you just restart the next day.
Sure.
No drama. The worst move is turning a skip into a reason to quit. Just restart. Keep the chain going. That persistence mindset is key.
Right. I think you have to do something. You have to ask our audience to do something, don't you?
Oh, right. So, for everyone listening, if this helped you, try one tiny habit this week. Just 5 to 10 minutes attached to something you already do. And if you'd like more episodes like this, like it, subscribe, and share the podcast with a friend who might need a little nudge.
Great, thanks a lot. You're good at that. I'll have to give you some money for that.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, it is a compliment. But look, so I don't know how much of our behavior is actually influenced by childhood experience.
That is such a deep question, Luciano. Childhood shapes beliefs we carry as adults, but it's not the final author of who we become. New habits, new skills can always be developed. Think of childhood as the first chapters, not the entire book.
Interesting. And is there any example that you can give us on that?
Sure. Say someone was raised being told mistakes are shameful. They might avoid risks as adults, but with gentle practice, trying safe small risks, like making a tiny speaking mistake on purpose, they can rewire some of that fear response. It's gradual, but very possible.
Great.
Brains stay...
I'm sorry, go on.
No worries. Brains stay adaptable. Change is possible. So we respect the past, but we don't have to be trapped by it. That's, I think, the hopeful part of psychology.
You're absolutely amazing. Like something that I've been, realizing in along my sessions and classes with people is that nowadays people, they come to me and say, hey, teacher, look, I've come across with this app that is amazing. Do you have an app to suggest me? Well, there is this app that I can learn, and there's this one. I think nowadays people are relying too much on technology, which is like, I believe that, language learning is something really simple. like it's just a very simple practices. You just have to listen and speak. There's no magical things. People were too worried about and too concerned on what app should I use, what is the best app, and then we're having a lot of choices. And as psychologist, and then you can elaborate a bit on that, we know that whenever we have too many choices, we have the tendency of choosing none.
I think you're touching on something deeper than just language apps, Luciano. We live in a time where people sometimes chase the perfect tool instead of the simple practice, and choice overload can paralyze action. I gently remind students languages were learned long before smartphones. An app can help, but it shouldn't replace consistent exposure and practice. So my answer might surprise them. The best app is the one they'll use consistently, but habit beats app every time.
I completely agree with you. And if that was actually true, the apps are the best options to learn languages, I wouldn't be here talking to you, because when I learned English, there was no app whatsoever. My role was simply to listen to the language, listen to people talking, and struggle a little bit to talk to. So that was it. I think and then when you trust too long and too much, when you trust too much on resource, then if you don't learn, you're going to blame the resource. And people nowadays, they're blaming for not having the right resource, right? That was said by, I think, Tony Robbins. He said that once, I guess.
Well, I think that's a really sharp observation. Relying on a resource can sometimes let us off the hook, but really, as you said, your own experience shows that exposure, listening, and persistence, those are still the core ingredients. Technology can amplify learning, but it can't replace showing up. So for your students, maybe the message is stop asking which app. Start asking which routine can I keep every day. That shifts focus back to behavior, where progress really happens.
Wow, that was good. Can you say this phrase again, please, and emphasize it to our audience, because they're pretty much language learners.
Yeah, so for your students, the message is this. Stop asking which app should I use. Instead, ask which routine can I keep every day? Because habit beats app every single time.
Perfect. And then before we wrap up, guys, don't forget that please to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and then GPT, don't forget that our audience is they're like language learners, and if our listeners could change just one habit starting today, what would you recommend?
Start tiny, really tiny. Like listen to just 5 minutes of English audio after something you already do, like after coffee or while you're walking the dog. Keep it doable and stick with that one small change rather than chasing some perfect app or overhauling everything at once. Small, steady steps really do add up.
So again, small steady steps really do add up. So guys, thanks a lot for today. It was a pleasure having you. It's always a pleasure to be here and talking to you. Now that we have our guest, GPT, please, your final comments. And before we go, thanks a lot again for coming today. And that was a pleasure.
Thank you, Luciano. Always a joy to be here. And to all the listeners, keep it simple, keep it small, and keep going. Those little steps matter more than you think.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. See you, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. All right. Thank you very much, and bye-bye. I'll see you in the next Level Up English podcast. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.